Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher on Tottenham's current situation. Paul Merson on Tottenham's game against Brighton on Saturday on Sky Sports. Rio Ferdinand on which Tottenham player he would choose for Manchester United. Richarlison on his mental health struggles. And former Spurs boss Jose Mourinho on Tottenham and the problems at the club. Here are your daily Tottenham headlines. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like, share and comment in the comment section below. If you are listening on audio platforms, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So here are today's headlines. Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher on Tottenham Hotspur's current situation. Keane, the balance in midfield at Spurs is not right. To be fair, the manager's only been there a week or two. It's maybe next week after learning from the game, but obviously they're up against it. All these players will be lacking confidence. They do have the quality players. They won a trophy last year, but with the run they're on, it's never going to be easy going to Sunderland. But it's a home game. It's a chance to bounce back and you've got to start winning somewhere. Carragher says, I don't like picking on young players because I think Bergvall and Gray have been two of Spurs' better players and they're two young kids. But after the game against Sunderland, I was really worried because of the midfield area. Are the two young kids learning their trade going to get you out of a relegation battle? Conor Gallagher has come in. The manager likes him because he's tried to buy him before. We know he's been a decent Premier League player, but it's not happened for him at Spurs. They have got quality players, though a lot of the attacking ones are injured. They've got a back four. Okay, Romero's out, but Van der Ven is in there and there's two decent fullbacks. The one area I look at is the midfield. West Ham have a better central midfield. So do Nottingham Forest and so do Leeds. That's my big worry for Spurs. Midfield has been a problem for the three managers already. It's only De Zerbi's first game, but you can see comparing those stats to Granit Xhaka where the problems are. Paul Merson on Tottenham's game against Brighton on Saturday, speaking on Sky Sports. I worry for Spurs. Brighton is a funny game next week because they give up chances, but that when they attack, they can really play. Brighton will be playing with no fear against a team with shackles on. 2 of their 6 games are Chelsea and Aston Villa away, so they've got 4 games to survive. Forest were quite poor against Villa, but they didn't lose. They scored a decent goal. By next week, Tottenham could be right in the mire. All 3 other teams have got massively winnable games. Tottenham don't even look like scoring. No urgency. I feel the Brighton game is the cup final of cup finals. They beat Brighton and they will beat Wolves and be safe. But if they don't, Rio Ferdinand on which Tottenham player he would choose to sign for Manchester United, I can't think of any that I'd take, especially the way they're playing now. Van der Ven maybe? Van der Ven and Jed Spence. Actually, Jed Spence. Richarlison on his mental health struggles. One day while driving, I thought about crashing into a wall. Today, when I think about it, I tell myself it's pointless. After the 2022 World Cup, I fell into a depression. Every possible misfortune befell me. My elimination, my agent's betrayal, family problems, physical setbacks. For a year and a half, I suffered blow after blow every single day. It was the first time I had to deal with so many problems. In all that chaos, I met an honest lawyer who put my affairs and assets in order. I worked with a psychologist, and most importantly, I met my wife. Former Spurs boss Jose Mourinho on Tottenham and the problems at the club. The problem is not the manager, it's the club. What should you expect from Tottenham? a team that fires managers, who reach finals, who led the club to a European trophy. Tottenham has never truly had the mentality of a big club. On the surface, it may look like a success, but in reality, it's a loser. Expecting stability while continuously changing managers is contradictory. You cannot be surprised by defeat after sacking a manager before the most important matches. At some point, it's not the manager's problem. The questionable decisions of the leadership are the problem. Even capable people are meaningless without character, but Tottenham has neither ability nor character. Strong words from Jose Mourinho. Would you expect anything less than strong words from him? So kind of going into some of this stuff. I guess Keane and Carragher talking about the midfield. I think it's a fair point. It's one of those that I've pointed out myself. I think it's a mistake to leave out a player like Xavi Simons because he gives you that creativity that you're really, really lacking. Palhinha is another one who gives you that solidity at the back, someone who can drop in, someone who can tackle and so on. Okay, his passing is not the greatest, but if you can win the ball back, give it to Simons, let him do something with it. That makes sense to me. Archie Gray, I think, is currently the better of the two between him and Bergvall, because Bergvall has been out. He's been out injured for a long time. He's been thrown straight back into it. And I think it's probably a bit too much. And I do think when you're young and you're enthusiastic, you are keen to make an impact. And I think it's really difficult to do that when you're worried all the time and you're just chasing shadows. And I think, you can over try, if you see what I mean. You can not think about what makes sense and what you can do, and you're just chasing shadows. And I think as well with Gallagher, I thought against Sunderland at the weekend that he was chasing everything down but achieving very little, and I think he's trying hard to make an impact. What he needs to do is settle down and play his game. So for me, I think Gallagher has a lot more to offer, but I think Palhinha and Xavi Simons are probably the most sensible options, shall we say, in the centre of midfield currently. Then you can bring in the likes of Sarr, the likes of Gray, the likes of Bergvall later on in the game to build up those minutes when you're, hopefully still in the game, rather than chasing shadows all the way through it. I think Carragher's point about the midfield, about the defence, actually, we've got, we keep bigging up Van de Ven. But I'm still not sure that his head is in it for Spurs. I'm not seeing enough from him. I think the first season where he was running back and making last-ditch tackles, I think, that kind of showed his massive pace and all the rest of it. But there are certainly a fair few areas lacking in his game from a defensive point of view. Udogie on the left is a constant issue with whether he's fit or not, whether he can play or not. So that worries me. And Porro's performances have been a lot less than we would have expected from him in terms of how he has played. Maybe he's running out of steam. From a defensive point of view, he's not the best. Going forward, he can be good. But for me, he's not putting enough crosses in. He's taking a lot of the safe options, and that concerns me. I think he needs to concentrate on his game, concentrate on his defensive duties, and when he goes forward, just get the ball in as quickly as you can. So players like Richarlison and Solanke can use their head, because that's where they do have a bit of quality. Rio Ferdinand, saying that the only player he'd kind of take for Manchester United is Van de Ven. Actually, I think he kind of dips out really, doesn't he, a little bit, and goes with Jed Spence. And Jed Spence probably would be okay for Man United. I don't know why. I think feels that he's a big club player, and I think that probably would suit his attitude a little bit more. I do think playing bit parts for Spurs, coming in and going out, and that I don't think that really suits him. I think he don't think he's very happy with that. I think he sees himself kind of pushing himself on. Now broke into the England squad and all that kind of stuff. He has a massive ego, and I don't think he's a squad player. I think he's more in his mind a first team starter, and that's it. And I think when he's not in the team regularly, I think that's when he loses his concentration and his attitude changes. So if he went to Man United, would he be a star? Maybe. And maybe he would feel like he's made it and change his attitude a little bit more. Because that's the one thing that concerns me with Jed is his attitude from time to time. I think he's a decent player. I do. I like him. When he's on fire, he's played well. And he's been better on the left side than he has on the right side, although he hasn't played on the right side very often. But yeah, I get it. I get why Ferdinand would suggest that. But, for me, if he went, I wouldn't be crying into me sugar puffs, if you know what I mean. Paul Merson talking about Brighton. I don't normally take a lot of what Paul Merson says because Paul Merson is Paul Merson. But I think he's right. I do think this is a cup final out of all of them. Because this is a team, Brighton is a team that is on par with Spurs, you would suggest, in general terms, not maybe this season, but in general terms, they would be a team that you would go, yeah, they're a kind of a Spurs-ish team, that sort of level, mid-table level. And I think it's a team that we could beat, but it's equally a team that we could lose against and have lost against. So I do feel this is the one really that's going to get us going if it's going to happen. Chelsea, we never get anything there ever. Villa is going to be very, very difficult. I think they can be beaten. I think Villa can be beaten, obviously, but I do think it's going to be a difficult one for us. So that kind of takes 2 of the 6 out. And we've got Wolves in there. Should be a winnable game. You've got Leeds in there as well, which should be a winnable game. They're never winnable games, are they? You can't never put your money on it, especially the way this squad has played this season. But on paper, if you were to say at the start of the season, these are the games you would be targeting as wins, then they're wins. I'm not saying that they definitely will, but they are the ones that you would say would be the wins, right? So, yeah, I do agree with him from that point of view. I think if we beat Brighton, that's a massive step forward, builds that confidence going into Wolves, which should be a winnable game. And then, yeah, it's all to play for from there, isn't it? Even Everton at the end of we don't want to be going into that game needing a win there to stay up. But if we do, again, Everton having a great season this season, but a difficult tie for them coming down to London. We should have enough to beat them. But again, not saying that we will, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any of those teams because I think all of them are capable of beating Spurs, certainly at this moment in time. So yeah, just to kind of touch on the Richarlison thing, I think that just kind of shows that football players are people, and it's not about the money. You can get paid exorbitant amounts of money. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are living your best life. It helps for sure. If you've got a few quid behind you, it helps for sure. But I don't think it necessarily means that you're in a good position always. So interesting comments from Richarlison. And finally, just kind of wanted to pick on this. Jose Mourinho, wow, Jose Mourinho never fouls, does he? He is clearly not very happy with his exit from Spurs and has a grudge for sure and an axe to grind. And that's not me saying that that I blame him. I don't. I think absolutely you can understand why he's pissed off. He had the opportunity to go into the Carabao Cup, win that game, and you would have put money on it. And they sacked him, or Levy sacked him 6 days beforehand, and leaves us with Ryan Mason going in against Pep Guardiola. And what do you expect? So yeah, I understand why he's saying that. But the point he's making whilst it's not nice to hear it, is absolutely spot on. Conte said it, Mourinho said it, they're all kind of going through this scenario. Questionable decisions of the leadership are the problem. I don't think you can put it any better than that. Even capable people are meaningless without character, but Tottenham has neither ability nor character. Wow, that's scathing. Now, we all say it as fans, but it's not very nice when you're hearing other people say it about your club. It's like when you're moaning about your sister, and then someone else says say about your sister, and you're like, "Whoa, hold on a minute, that's my sister." Don't we? We do that. But I don't think you can blame Jose Mourinho, and I think he's been around football long enough to know what is the right sort of character in a football club. He's won something pretty much everywhere that he's been, except at Spurs. So you can kind of understand why he's bitter and twisted about it. I really, really wanted that to work, the Mourinho thing after Pochettino going. But I do think that Mourinho played a part in that. I think he was close to the club. He was close to Levy. He knew that Levy had wanted him before he went to Chelsea, and I think he played on it. I think he said to Levy, I can get a win out of these guys. You just need that little bit of Mourinho magic. I've won trophies everywhere. I'm the special one. I can come in. I can turn this great squad into a winning squad. And then he came in and he realised actually the first team was great, but the depth of squad was just nowhere near. And this was an aging squad that needed refreshment, and Levy wasn't going to give it to him. And he may have tried to want to be that manager that doesn't always have to spend money to win something, but actually you can never get away from your DNA, and that's what his DNA is. His DNA is spending good money on good players and getting the best out of them, and that was just never going to happen at Spurs. So yeah, I totally get it. I totally get where Mourinho's from. It makes absolute sense. Painful to hear, but we have to face it as Spurs fans at the moment. We have to face it, and this leadership from Levy all the way through from ENIC and where we are now. Questionable decisions, the amount of money we've paid out on sacking managers, getting managers in, dud players, changing direction. You're going from free-flowing football to pragmatic football, back to free-flowing, back to suicide football, to pragmatism again. And you cannot keep changing your style. You need to pick something, stick with it through thick and thin, and make it work and get the right players for the system that you're deciding to do. So big changes needed at the end of this season for sure, whether we're up or whether we're down. We need to make some clear decisions about where we're going as a football club for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you've managed to get through this whole video, appreciate you sticking with it. I know I ramble on a little bit. As I said at the beginning, this is, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button. Like, share and comment in the comment section below. It'd be great to hear your views. How do you feel about Mourinho? What about Richarlison and his mental health problems? And the comments from all these other pundits giving their views on where they think Tottenham are at the moment and what's going to happen. It'd be good to know how you feel about all those things. If you're listening on audio platforms, please do hit the follow button and leave a review. My name's Lee, the Dorset Spur. I have my own YouTube channel, which you can find quite easily. I'm on all the socials, Lee, the Dorset Spur. Find me there and come across and say hello. It'd be good to have you on board for sure as I grow my channel as well. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.